Well, 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 well. Welcome back, everyone. And today will be part 2 of working on this mini right here. Now we can see here, once it decides to focus, we got her skin covered, got her clothes done, and we made her eyes all black. She looks like a rock star. Today will be Nun Oil. We'll be doing some Nun Oil here, and we'll do any touch-ups that we need to after it's dry. Now, I tried the last format where I sped up the video. You probably noticed that. This video, I think we're just going to do it like we normally do. Just live action. We'll paint it, and you'll see every brush stroke that I make and all that good stuff. Because generally speaking, washes don't take that long, so there's no point. So we're going to be using my 3D printed holder here. We're going to shake up our... Oh, did I say Nun Oil? I meant Agrax Earthshade. My bad. We're going to be using... Oops, let me get this out of the way. We're going to be using Agrax Earthshade from Citadel. Alright. Put that in our little holder here. I have my 2 solo cups as always. Get my brush a little damp. And then let's just go for it, huh? So we have our little brush here. I dump it off a little bit in this little pot here because that's usually where I go back to grab stuff. Shouldn't need much more than that. It doesn't actually take too much. So we'll start at the top and work our way down. So we're just putting this on here very liberally. Very liberty. You know what I mean. And yeah, so remember, as we said before, as soon as you hit a spot, you shouldn't really go back to it because it's possible that you might damage it, rip some paint off, as we saw in the really early videos. So, look at that. And, there we have it. Very easy. Now what we want to do though is we want to make sure that we don't have like a lot globbed up anywhere. No huge pools, no bubbles. That's what we're kind of looking for here. We just want shadows, right? We don't want we want shadows. So her face is looking a little bit better. Still a little, just a little bit there. Don't worry, we're gonna highlight all this stuff, so don't worry too much about it. But yeah, there it is. So we'll give her probably about I'd say probably about maybe 2 hours, only because I'm busy. But that's how long I'm going to give her to dry. She doesn't really need that long, but if we give her that long, so I have way more than enough time to fully dry it, then I'll come back and I'll do the detail work, which will probably be more Kislev flesh if I need it, and then maybe we'll do a highlight of Flayed One flesh on some of her, her really exposed areas. But other than that, that's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, so I'll see you in a bit, everyone. Hello, and we're back. I let the figure totally dry. You can see she is looking pretty good, pretty good. Her eyes are still a little dark. So remember, we're trying to paint figures that look good from far away. And right now, I think she's looking pretty good. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit her with just a little bit of Kislev flesh here, just to highlight some of those areas, maybe her arms a bit, her thighs, her chest a little bit, and maybe her cheeks and nose. I'm not too sure. We'll see when we get there. But the brushes I will be using, basically, well, actually, I'm only going to be using one brush for the detail part. So the detail part, we're going to be going back to this trusty old Reaper Pro painter. And the number here is, if you can read it, it's 85, hold on, whoops, shaking the camera here. There it is, 8505. That's what we're going to be using. And we have the patented 2 solo cups of water, one clean, one dirty, basically. That's what we're going to be using them for. And the base, oops, let me get this back into focus, sorry about that. So yeah, so we're going to basically paint here on her breasts, her arms, maybe her cheeks and nose, and all that good stuff. So let's get right into it. So we're going to make sure our brush is nice and moist. We got to make sure we do that. Give our Kislev flesh a good shake. We're going to be using our 3D printer holder, because these Citadel paint pots like to tip over. So we're just going to give it a nice little sturdy foundation to sit on like this. And then, yeah, we'll get right into it. So remember, we have a nice moist brush here. And I'm not putting much onto the tip of the paintbrush. Maybe if we can zoom in here. Maybe. It's not zooming. That's okay. So we'll just, actually, hold on. Let me zoom in here. Come on. There we go. Okay. So then let's get to it. We're just going to hit her just a little bit here, just to give her some highlights here. Tried to water down this brush as much as I could. And you can see that we're not actually hitting the entirety of the lake. We're just hitting some of those high points, just trying to bring it back up to a lighter color. We're going to do the same thing right here. Just going to try to hit those high points here. Make sure that we keep a nice moist brush here. And go back for the paint a bit. It's a little too much. We don't want too much here, because if we put too much on, what will happen is we'll lose all those shadows that we were trying so hard to gain. Right? So we're just trying to lighten up her flesh a bit here. And yeah, then we'll just touch her breasts here. And you might not even be able to see it right away. So this could take 1 to 2 more coats to lighten her up. But extremely thin coats. That's what we want. We almost want like almost a watercolor. But see, now if we put too much water on it, it'll fall into our cracks that we were making. And we don't want that. We don't want it to fall into the cracks. There we go. That might have been a little bit better for you to see there. Yeah, we don't want it to fall in. So, okay, I'm going to take off my glasses for this one. So, for this one, what we're going to be doing is, if it decides to focus, yeah, here we go. It decides to focus. There we go. We're going to hit her face. And for her face, we're just going to touch her nose like this. And then touch her cheeks. Touch her other cheek. The reason that we're trying to brighten these up is we want her to have, you know, some definition in her actual face here. I'm going to go back for a little bit more water here. A little bit more paint. Remember, we're doing like a really, really little amount here. Trying to put as little onto the paintbrush as we can. And yeah, we just kind of touch it. We go over here. Just touch that. You can touch the knuckles, but I personally would leave them mostly alone because we don't want to accidentally mess those up. Ain't no one's going to see him anyway, so I wouldn't worry too much about him. But there we go. And maybe if you want, try to hit her belly a bit. Just so we can get decent definition on their belly. Now this is, we're going to be really detailed here. So just be real careful. Try to avoid the belly button. Yeah, something like that. That way it brings up the face just a bit more. I think she's looking real good. All right. So for detailing, I think that's pretty much it. We don't really need to do too much because I like my figures dirty and she's looking quite dirty. So we're going to close up the Kivlev flesh here because we're kind of done with it. We don't really need it anymore. So we close up the Kivlev flesh. The next thing is we'll need a little bit of Nunn oil. Nunn oil will go onto the base here, just as we did for all the other miniatures. And if you didn't see it before, hold on, let me grab one here. The base, the end goal for the base is to look something like this. Something like this. I know it's really glossy because I use actually a gloss coat, because this way it gives it a lot more strength, the figure and the paint job itself. So these are cheap minis that you can just throw around, and it will be hard to beat them up. All right, so what we got to do though is we got to put this as black, but we want to put the Nunn oil on this first before we paint this black. So, I mean, we could paint this black, put Nunn oil, and then put more black over it, but I think it's a waste of time. So we'll just put a little bit of Nunn oil on this. And to do that, we're using our trusty 5 round brush. It's just a round brush I got from, I'm pretty sure, Hobby Lobby for a couple bucks. And yeah, we get our brush nice and wet. And look, you can even like use this and you just kind of make sure that it gets totally wet. As you can see, it's sucking this stuff up. If it's sucking it up, it's not totally wet yet. So just get this totally wet. All right, just play around with it. And we're going to do the same thing with our Nunn oil. We're going to open that up, put it into our holder. First, we got to give it a good shake. And we actually won't need too much of this. So, I mean, like, a little dab will do you here. So, just fill up the paintbrush. It'll look something like this. Maybe a little less. And then just, yeah, so just touch it. This is going to extremely darken up this base of ours. And with Nunn oil, it's okay if you touch your shoes a bit. You'll just actually add a bit. Oh, my bad. Oh, my goodness. I'll just add a bit to her overall aesthetic. Actually, hold on. Let me back this up. There we go. That probably would have been better. My bad. Yeah, still learning the ropes here on all this painting stuff, the recording and all that. So yeah, we're gonna give her about I don't know. I'd say, what did we give her last time? 2 hours? Yeah, we probably gave her about. It was probably around 2 hours. She definitely does not need 2 hours. If you want to give her maybe like 20 minutes, maybe an hour. Go do a load of laundry or something like that. Come back, she'll be dry. And then all you have to do after this step, paint this rim black, and you got a finished figure. So let's zoom back in here so we can get a good look at her. So yeah, this is basically her. She's basically done. So what I'll do, I should say, I'm going to let her fully dry, paint this black, and I'll take some glamour shots. Yeah, so right after this, you'll probably see some glamour shots of the finished model, and I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next video, we'll probably do another kind of, maybe a quicker one. I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way for me to record these. I did like recording it, speeding it up, talking it over in the last video. I did like that. It was interesting. It was different. But I think I just like these better. I like talking my mental process on how I actually get to these. And you can see in real time just how fast and easy it is. Now, granted, drying times are a little different, but in real time, you can see me painting these miniatures. Yeah, it might take a little bit. I mean, 2 half-hour sessions is all it really took me to finish this model. That's it. So, an hour, and it really shouldn't even took an hour, but I just, I paint a half hour, and then it's because I talk and think about stuff, so I'm not like just painting. And also, while you're painting, you can do more than one. So, I think in our next painting, what we will paint is, I got an idea. I got an idea for our next painting. So yeah, in the next video, I'll see you then. And yeah, take a look at these glamour shots. Peace out.